sounds like after the All-Star break, the NHL is going to stop testing players if they're asymptomatic. Just wondering what the conversation around about the constant testing has been so far this season, and the feeling amongst the guys about even if you're not showing any symptoms, you still got to test and risk sitting.
Well, yeah, I think it's evolved now. I think we're in a later stage of this virus where, for us that's had it, the symptoms were pretty minimal. So I think this is a natural progression. I trust the doctors with the league and the PA. I've trusted them all along. I feel like they'll make decisions that are best for public health, safety, and for us as players. And I feel like we're in a different place than we were 2 years ago with the virus. So I think it's a good step in the right direction. And, we don't need guys missing games, for no reason if they're feeling good. And we also have to keep in mind, though, that there's public safety involved. So I trust the people that are making the decisions, and we'll move forward with how they recommend us to.
On a different note, how would you describe how Michael Bunting has come into this team and been able to play with some really high elite players on that top line?
Yeah, great kid, great energy. Right from day one, he bought fully into the program here, and he joined us in the summer and came and worked out every day here. So it almost felt like he's been on the team longer than he has been, just with the way he's segued in. Him and Austin have a great relationship off the ice. I think that's helped him on the ice. And just the fact that he drives the net, he works hard, he's always in the right areas, he's around the puck all game, makes him one of those guys that's easy to play with.
Thanks.
Next up, we'll go to Mark Masters, TSN. Go ahead, Mark.
Jason, as a guy who's taken a lot of faceoffs in your day, what's it take to execute the play that Austin did in St. Louis to set up Michael's goal to get you guys going in St. Louis?
Yeah, you have to have an elite mind. I think that's what Austin has, and then also have the ability just to know the opportunity and when. And he's a quick study. He took a couple draws against O'Reilly, figured out what he was doing, and thought he could do something to try to take advantage of it, and it worked. And sometimes you do those things, they don't work 100%, but can also get the other centerman thinking. So that just shows the level of game that Austin has, and what the thought he puts into his game when he's on the bench. He's not just catching his breath, he's thinking about his next play and his next move, and he's a little bit like a chess player in that way.
Outside of that one play, I'm sure there's a lot of examples, but where do you see that elite mind coming out the most?
I think just problem solving within games. I think when you see teams and they cover him tight on the power play, he'll move and go to different spots. I think 5-on-5, he reads when teams are keeping him to the outside and he tries to get on the inside. The way he changes the angle on his shot, just everywhere. I think he's constantly problem solving situations, and that's why you see him have a lot of success. Obviously his natural abilities, but a lot of it is his mind and the fact that he can kind of problem solve around the game.
Next up, we'll go to Terry Cochet, Toronto Sun. Go ahead, Terry.
Hey, Jason, I just want to get your thoughts on what Adam Fox has been able to do on the Rangers blue line at such a young age. And, over your career, have you seen a difference in the way defensemen play that way? Not as big as they might have been at one time, but Fox specifically, what are you seeing in his game? Yeah,
you see these guys, Fox, Makar, Heiskanen, they come in as young defensemen, and the confidence they have offensively is incredible. Fox, the way he moves across the line and just the subtle little plays, he makes great passes. I think he knows when to kind of handle it for a long time. He knows when to move it quick. And, you can tell those guys have great chemistry with the Rangers, especially him, Zibanejad, and Panarin. They really snap it around those three on the power play. So just a dynamic hockey player, and just shows kind of how guys are probably a little more offensively inept at a young age on the back end, and that used to be something guys would grow into, and now guys come in and they're pretty confident back there.
How difficult is it to defend against a defenseman who does have those offensive instincts, and almost like a fourth forward at times?
Yeah, for sure. I think he skates well and gets up the ice. I think he's got a lot of misdirection. I think that's one of his strengths is, he's got a lot of little subtle fakes and jukes, and he looks one way, passes the other, almost the style of like an elite point guard. When you think of like a Steve Nash or something like that, with a lot of misdirection. And that's how I see Fox, as a guy that he's almost like a point guard back there, and, he can make you miss with your eyes. And also then he has the great, puck handling ability and feet.
Great. Thanks, Jason.
And last one here, we'll go to Dave McCarthy with NHL.com. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Jason, Jack Campbell named to the All-Star team last week. I don't know if you ever really crossed paths with him when you were in Dallas, maybe in training camp for a year or two, but just seeing how much he's progressed from when he came into the league and how long it took him to establish himself to where he is today. What have you made of what you've seen out of Jack over the last number of years?
Yeah, I'm so proud of Soup. I work a lot with the goalies before practice and shooting on them, and Ty talked to Soup a lot, and just the way that he's approached his game. Even when he started having success last year, just the constant drive that he had to work on his game and get better. I think he's just really maturing. He's turned into, a really steady goaltender that, we believe is going to be a game changer for us every night. I knew him in Dallas. He had that same work ethic, that same, youthfulness to him, I guess, in sense of like he would take shots all day. I was fond of him there just because, anytime a goalie is willing to stay out there for a long time, he always wins me over. So we actually had a bit of relationship in Dallas too when he would be up. But then him coming here and kind of going to the next level, I was, extremely proud and happy for him. And I was actually, with him in Arizona when he found out, and I think I might have been happier than he was. Just to see when a guy puts that type of work in, he spends his summers here now to make sure he's getting proper work, and just a great kid that has really worked hard, and he's got a long time ahead of him now. Goalies can play for a long time, and I think he's just finding his stride.